Now, off the bat, Narbae, I want you to know one of the reasons why I say that Narbae is one of the most phenomenal bench presses of all time is what body weight did you compete at?
Well, CT, first of all, it's so good to see you, and you're looking great. I mean, you're just your many comeback stories, and you're my idol.
Oh man!
But of course, well, the 148-pound category. So I always had to weigh in at 148 or under.
148 pounds. Now that's very important. I want you to remember that when you guys out there want to compare yourself or say pound for pound, 148 pounds was his weight class limit. Now, another reason I put him on the all-time great list is 148 pounds, got that, 100% drug fucking free. Right, Narbé?
Yes, 100%.
100% drug fucking free. Now, that may not mean that much to you, but that means a whole hell of a lot to me. I mean, that makes it, what he was able to do at 148 pounds, that makes it even more incredible. Because you may see some guys that beat his numbers now, but they got on fucking 5-ply bench press shirts, and they taking every drug in the book, and stacked up against Narbae, they ain't shit. In my opinion, they ain't shit against Narbae in my opinion. So I put it, like I said, he's on an all-time greatest list, drug-free, 148 pounds. Now, before I get to the numbers, and I'm getting to his numbers. I know you want to know how much did he do? How much did he do, CT? Fuck that, you know I'm an old motherfucker and I talk too much, so you just gotta listen to my ass. Now, how did we meet?
Well, CT, I remember we were in a meet in Norwalk, and I was competing, and I guess after my third lift, you came up to me and you said, hey, I'd like you to join this federation. It was called WLOP, right. A World Legion of Power, and friendship started from there.
Yep, and one big thing that I remember besides the phenomenal bench press about Narbae, that just blew me out of the water. I watched Narbae just destroy the competition, and I look over, and after the meet, Narbae's doing this. He was smoking, and I couldn't believe that a phenomenal athlete like that, I mean, world class by any stretch of the imagination, was puffing away on a seat. I said, Narbae, you smoke. And your answer?
I know, young and stupid, but what are you gonna do? Back then, you kind of take your talents for granted. So I did that as well, but I don't do that anymore.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, that's fantastic to hear. So that was like, that's like you hearing Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan might smoke, I don't know, but it would shock me if he did. So he's like the Michael Jordan bench presser, and he was smoking. I'm like, what the fuck? And still killing everybody. I mean, it wasn't even close in his weight class. When Narbae showed up, the rest of the 148 pounders knew that, it was like, Narbae was like, which one of you motherfuckers coming in second? Because everybody knew he was gonna win that shit, But he was always very humble, even though he was smashing, unlike myself. Back then I was talking all kind of shit. But, back in my competition days, talking all kind of shit. But Narbae was always very humble, a destroyer, quiet destroyer, did his thing. Bench press in a t-shirt, always in there. That's another thing. No bench press shirts, none of that. Narbae would show up in a fucking t-shirt and destroy everybody, just destroy them. Okay, what makes him legendary? His attitude, dedication, drug-free, no bench press shirt, and his fucking numbers. Now, What have you been doing since I last seen you?
Well, since we last saw each other, I continued competing. This is my 20th year teaching at the same school, so that's an accomplishment I take very seriously.
Yeah, I mean, teachers are highly underpaid for sure.
Proud father of 2 children.
All right.
Yeah, a 12-year-old and a 9-year-old.
Man.
So that's, I've been juggling all, staying fit, and all the while still being and trying to be in competition shape.
Man,
So, yeah.
how old are you now, man?
I'm 45.
45 years old. You still look like a fucking kid, don't you? Look like you're 25, 45 years old. So you can compete in the master's class now.
Yeah.
45, still, I mean, I'm telling you, he looks the exact fucking same as he did all them years ago. Just as young as fuck, just as in shape as fuck. He's a fantastic human being. So, school teacher, staying in shape, proud dad, super proud dad.
Absolutely.
What is your proudest weightlifting achievement?
Well, I think it's got to be, benching 392 pounds at 147 pound body weight raw. So that was like the pinnacle of it.
Yep.
But even now, for me, it's what I'm even more proud, I would say, is the maintaining.
Yeah.
Maintaining on a daily basis, maintaining my body weight on a daily basis, having my workout routine regimen, my nutrition on point, because I do believe that the biggest equalizer and neutralizer to getting older, which is inevitable, is good and very healthy habits. So that's something I haven't forgotten in staying humble.
Absolutely the fountain of youth. Narbé just gave it to you right there, man. Your nutrition, which I didn't give a fuck about it back then. But die a few times and that shit become important. Your nutrition, staying in shape, exercise is absolutely the fountain of youth. If you're looking for the fountain of youth, there it is right there. Narbé just gave it to you. Living example of practicing what you preach. You can absolutely see it. Hasn't aged a fucking day since I last seen him, and just phenomenal human being, let alone bench press. But what was that weight again? Top weight?
392 pounds.
392 pounds. There it is. You got the tag to prove it. 392 at 148 pounds.
Yeah.
392 now. And that is paused in competition. If you think a fucking pause doesn't make any difference, then you try it. See how much you can bench press, just bouncing it off your chest like you've been doing. And then try to pause that shit. 1001, 1002, 1003, bam, then go. That's the reason why they pause in competition. It leaves out any room for error. It shows you who's really strong, because you can find people that can bounce a whole lot of shit. They dribble that bar off their chest like a fucking basketball. But you put them in competition, rest that bar on your chest, wait till the head judge says press, then you go. Now that's a whole different category. That's why you see a bunch of backyard bench presses don't do so well in competition. Competition is a whole nother animal. He did this, paused, in a t-shirt, 148 pounds. Incredible. Yeah, I've seen a whole lot of big motherfuckers can't do that much weight. Pause, bounce, whatever the fuck they can't. And he did it, you see, you're gonna see footage of him bench pressing. You won't see no giant arch and no tricks or nothing. It was just, his form was impeccable, incredible, textbook. If you wanna see a textbook bench press, you gotta watch Narbé. Now, What ages are the kids that you teach?
They're in 5th and 6th grade.
Oh, okay.
10 through 12 years old.
10 to 12. And do they have any idea how fucking strong their teacher is? Mr. Mansourian.
Well, I mean, I have some of my medals and my trophies up there and stuff, and they've seen footage of it, but I don't think they can fathom it per se, because for them, heavy is heavy, right? But I do teach math to them as well, so I think I kind of incorporate that in terms of kilos to pounds conversions, or how many I don't know how many desks is 392 pounds, so that they could kind of put in perspective in the grand scheme of things.
Man, a math teacher. Now see, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I knew he taught. I thought maybe he was a fucking PE teacher. Well, he was naturally fit, bench press world champion, PE teacher.
Yeah. I mean, I've worn many hats in the past: math, French, taught Spanish, history. Yeah. In fact, the one thing I wanted to add is at the school where I taught, I met this child who turns out had muscular dystrophy, and that's how I, decided to use a platform to raise awareness for muscular dystrophy in children.
Wow.
So I think that's also the crowning, I think, a proud achievement that I have.
A crowning achievement.
Yeah, he was in preschool, and I could tell that in terms of developmentally, he was not up to par to the other children. I thought, it was developmental, and then I realized that it was muscular dystrophy, so I reached out to the parents and I said, well, I'd like to do something special and, do this in their honor. And so, and it kind of gave purpose to me, because here I have this God-given given talent.
Yep.
And there are kids who are struggling to even get up, or whose life expectancy might not be long. So it really helped me be thankful and put things in perspective and give a reason on why I do these.
Man, so now you see why I say a fucking great human being, not just an incredible weightlifter, but an incredible human being. How important is integrity to you?
I mean, integrity to others, but also integrity to oneself, keeping yourself accountable for yourself and also at the service of others. Very important.
Ooh, at the service of others. A life lived in the service of others, in my opinion, is the best. It's the best life that you can possibly live.
Very gratifying.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Absolutely. It's nothing more gratifying, I don't think, than what can I do to help somebody else. I want to see. I want to see everybody do good. But what I don't understand is how it bothers. I mean, some people, it just make them angry. I don't understand the mentality of how they can be angry because you're doing good. Yeah. It just pisses them off to see Narbae doing good. I can't stand that motherfucker. And they don't even know you.
Yeah. Even people that I've competed against, a lot of them I made friends with. At the end of the day, it's a big camaraderie. You're in it together. You're not even competing against them per se. You're competing against your numbers on how you feel that day. I remember one time during a competition, the guy in front of me was cramping up. And I was on deck, and then I, along with 3 or 4 other people, decided to help him out, massage him, give him water, to make sure that he gets up there. At least he's okay. It's like you don't wish any ill will on anyone. At the end of the day, we're here for a bigger cause, I would say.
Absolutely, and that's just that goes back to that integrity and being just a good human being. Okay, Narbé, I want you to look back over the past and tell me some of your most fond memories of competition. I know, like, for me, when I first seen you was one of the fondest memories I have of bench press competitions or competitions period. I said, wow! I mean, it was unbelievable to see somebody your body weight do that much weight, 100% drug free, and in a fucking t-shirt. I'll never forget that. So, can you tell me some of your most fond memories?
Yeah, I mean, I have many, but I know one that pops up is my very first one in the year 2000 at Venice Beach, on Muscle Beach, in a place that obviously has a lot of historical significance for weightlifters.
Absolutely.
And I kind of solidified and validated all the hard work I'd done at the gym, that I wasn't just, like you said, like a backyard lifter. And over the years, the camaraderie that you make against, with your fellow competitors, with the people that you go against, and lifelong friendships over the years. Also, it has allowed me to travel to a lot of places and to either experience it by myself or even better with my loved ones. That's been an amazing experience, and it continues to be.
Have you ever met any assholes at competition?
Yes, I will not name any names, but yes, I have, and in a way, I kind of feel bad for them. Maybe that's their way to kind of hype themselves up and get themselves motivated to be the best lifter they could be. But I've always looked at myself, and not just as a linear, just as a lifter. In the game of life, I've tried to be as well-rounded as possible. So if someone who is so obsessed and hell-bent on it, I feel that, they're just putting their eggs in one basket. I never took it seriously, and I know it's part, and all in the name of competition and gamesmanship. And a lot of times, that same asshole per se, he and I became friends afterwards. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Man. I have definitely met some assholes, and it's probably somebody out there saying that CT was an asshole. So, but I had a training partner named Richard Schoenberg. We were like fire and ice, man. Fire and ice. We would go tit for tat every time on the bench press. Was the only guy I could find that was just every bit as strong as me. And when you have somebody that's close to your strength or neck and neck strength, you can really push each other. And he was the exact opposite of me. He was so quiet, never said a bad word, and just as humble but powerful, like unbelievably powerful. But I'd be, we go to competitions, and I'd be backstage. And oh man, I had a big mouth, and I'd be back there, and everybody be warming up, and I say it in the video, but I actually would say it in the competition backstage. Now, which one of you motherfuckers is coming in second? Because y'all pick amongst yourselves and decide, because y'all know I'm gonna win this shit, right? And Rich would be back there, oh, he's like, oh shit. But he would never say, he would never in a million years say anything like that out loud. Now, I don't know what he was thinking, but he was very quiet, very calm. We get ready to bench press, he'd blow a few times, make a few, like a fucking, I call him the silverback because it sounded like a fucking gorilla when he'd be down there. But he would very calm, totally opposite. Now, I said all that shit to ask you, where do you get your calm demeanor from?
Oh, I'm not sure. I think.
Mom or dad?
Well, just my background, my past. I lived in 3 different countries, 3 different continents, I should say. By the time I was 12 years old, I was able to adapt to so many different situations. I was born in France. I also lived in Iran, where there were bombings back then. Had to go through different cultures, cultural shocks, having to change and learn different languages. So I think looking back, you helps you put things in perspective, and the calm demeanor I think comes from that. And also, when you meet kids like Anthony, the kid who the preschooler with muscular dystrophy, you think to yourself, okay, what there is this is also trivial at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Now, that does not mean that I don't give it 100%, because obviously I have been able to achieve many great goals. I have, I think, 11 world championships in different federations, and my record holds in some federations as well. But I think it's what keeps me calm and even keeled and go for the kill right then and there.
Absolutely. I tell people all the time, the flatlining and all that, my past has prepared me for my present. Whatever is going on right now, I look at it, Narbé, if I can wake up and open my eyes in the morning, I can handle it from there. I told the good Lord, I prayed before my my heart transplant, before I had the heart transplant. I said, look, Lord, if you just let me open my eyes, after this transplant, I can take it from there. Just let me open my eyes. I ain't asking for nothing else after that. If you let me open my eyes, make it to the other side, just make it to the other side, I will handle it from there. I won't complain. I don't care how hard it's gonna be, whatever I gotta go through, whatever I gotta do, falling on my face in the parking lot, scrape myself, falling down many, many times. Whatever I gotta do, you let me open my eyes and I'll handle it from there, and I won't complain. Absolutely. I will not complain. I mean, people say, what's the worst thing that could happen? You could die. I mean, and I done done that a few times. So if I ain't dead, then anything other than that, falling short of being dead, I can handle it, man. It will give you, your past will give you a perspective. The things that you've gone through will give you a perspective that you can't get any other way. Yeah. Now, living in all those different countries, speaking all those different languages, I was like, man, he talk French, he talk Spanish. How? But your past experience will give you will have a reflection on life that you just can't earn any other way unless you go through some shit. Absolutely. You can't be Narbae Mansourian without having lived that life, without going, all those collective experiences have combined to make you Narbae Mansourian, to make you the fucking phenomenal, the phenom. As you can tell, I'm still fucking excited like a little old kid and shit to have Narbae here, because for me, I met a lot of weightlifters and fucking damn near 50 years of lifting weights, but to have, certain people stand out. They just stand out, so I've been wanting to get him here for the longest time and sit down and talk to him, because I want the world to know what I know.
Well, I mean, this has just been a good excuse for me to catch up with you, CT, because, I mean, it's been such a long time, and to be able to get a hold of you because you're so busy and you're so big, it's an honor. But thank you so much for.
I reached out to him, by the way. Let's throw that in there. I'll try to track him down. I want to track him down. That's how important it is.
Yeah, no, it was a pleasant surprise. No, but I mean, honestly, it's weightlifting or bench pressing kind of fell on my lap. And I just want to say that I was, like 19 or 20 years old, and I wanted to play rugby in college. And the coach said, you know what, you need to work on your upper body. I said, well, what do I need to do? He said, well, you have to do the bench press. I said, well, which one's a bench press? I was still pretty fresh off the boat, not knowing what the bench press was. So he shows me. And from that point forth, my progress was not just linear, but exponential. And the rest is history. And the process gained maybe 5 pounds of muscle. But this goes to show you of all the talents that we have that we're not even aware of. Because this kind of fell on my lap. I didn't go in wanting to be a weightlifter. I went in because I wanted to play sports. It's that, and it's been an amazing journey. Just looking back, it's a trip. It's almost like someone else's movie. And I feel very blessed.
Man, so you fell into being a phenomenal bench presser just by chance. Oh, so I need this to help me with rugby, huh? Okay, I'll try it out, and fell in love with it.
It's surreal still, because now it's not just a 30-day challenge, but it's a lifelong challenge, one that I've done since I was 19 years old, so over half my life. It's absolutely surreal.
And do you still have the same passion for it as that 19-year-old kid?
Yes, I do. And as I've gotten older, I know you were joking about this, but as I've gotten older, I've gotten much more health conscious, and actually, I think I'm even a better human now than I was before, because I'm wiser, and to me it's been a daily way of life, not just to be a strong bench presser, but to maintain a healthy way of living for myself, for my peers, for me to tell them that age is just a number, for my students, and most importantly, my kids.
Oh man, yeah. Before we go, I want to talk just a little bit more about your kids, because as a dad, I mean, Narbé, when I was trying to recuperate from open heart surgery, the first one they cut me open and replaced the valve. The second one I had a heart transplant. My kids, biggest cheerleaders. My son Samson was there every day. And I mean, there were some times, Narbé, when I thought, when I was so sure that I was gonna die after my heart attack, because he was there when I had my heart attack, and he was sitting right next to me, and I was so positive that I was gonna die, that I apologized to him for leaving early. I said that, I didn't intend to leave this early. I plan to be with you a lot longer, but I just can't make it. I'm so sorry. I'm not going to be able to make it. I was positive that was it, that it was over, because, I mean, my TV screen, now, I don't know if you're old enough to remember, but they used to, the old TVs, when you yank the plug out of the wall, the picture would fade like this and would get real small until the light went out. I mean, that's real. I don't know if you're that old, but the old black and white TV would go down real small until be a little dot of light, and then it would completely fade. But that's what my little TV screen was fading fast, so that little light was getting smaller and smaller, and I just felt life draining from my body. So I apologized to my son. I said, I'm not going to be here, and I'm really sorry that I'm not going to get to, see a whole lot of things. But I love you, I love you to death. And my son looked at me and he said, nope, no way. You are not dying tonight. And Narbé, I was like, I was thinking in my head, okay, you don't know how this feels. Hang on just 2-3 more minutes, and I'm telling you, I'm out of here, man. I said, I like the, but you don't have any idea how this elephant sitting on my chest feels. It felt like an elephant was just taking a squat right on my chest, and I could just barely sip little sips of air. And I said, this is it. I'm like, that I don't complain. So if I'm telling you that it's this bad, it's got to be bad. I'm saying, I'm out of here. And he's like, nope. I refuse, you are not dying tonight. And he said it with such utmost confidence. I started to believe him. And by the time the paramedics got there, they said, okay, we're gonna take your dad to the hospital. He had a heart attack, and we're gonna go get the stretcher. And I said, fuck that, I'm walking. I could walk to the ambulance. And so he convinced me, by the time the paramedics got there, that I wasn't gonna die, and I wanted to show him that I had enough strength to stand up and walk to the ambulance instead of, letting them cart me out. So it's, your children are so important. The trophies and accolades and heaping, but before anything else, I try to tell, before anything else, I'm a dad, man. That is job number one, the proudest job and the best job. That is numero uno. Yeah. Being a dad is it for me. So, like I said, I talk way too fucking much. The importance, tell me your children's names, and how does being a dad stack up to everything else in your life?
Well, my kids' names are Emily, she's my older one, and Daniel, he's my younger one. And it gives you a meaning of life. And again, there are many people who don't have children, and I'm sure they have their meaning, and that's great. For me, it's a no-brainer. It's my children. They come first in the grand scheme of things, and that's why I want to model a lifestyle that they would be proud of. I want to leave a legacy for them that they would be proud of. Fatherhood, I take it very seriously. My biological dad passed away when I was 7, and he was killed actually in political prison in Iran because he was dissenting the regime. So remembering all of that and how it made me feel at that time has given me strength from his strength, but also the motivation to be the best dad that I can be and live the longest life that I can live for my children.
Absolutely. Wow. See, I learned something else. I had no idea. Your dad was obviously incredibly strong. There's weightlifting strength, and then there's that kind of strength.
There's a mental fortitude, yeah.
Oh. And long after the muscles fade and the weightlifting strength is gone, and you're not what you used to be, CT. It's that mental strength, the mental fortitude, the intestinal fortitude. That's what's gonna get you through, Narbé. Yeah. That is what will get you through. To go from, touch and go 705 pounds to not being able to bench press 1 pound. Not be able to do one push-up, not be able to do one, not be able to curl nothing. Yeah. To go from to past the bottom, how do you get through that? Being a phenomenal, being an athlete, and then going from that to nothing. The only thing that can get you through that, it's just a different. I used to have a saying that you can't teach tough. Now you can teach a whole lot of things. You got 2 fighters. I love combat sports, by the way. But say you got 2 fighters, and they're both equal in skill. They've both been boxing or doing martial arts, whatever their field is, for the equal amount of time. They're both completely level. It's just a draw. Every way you look at it, it's a draw. Skill, technique, speed, weight, everything on paper is a draw. Who's gonna win that fight? The toughest, the mentally toughest, the mentally most focused, the mentally most determined, the fighter that has the most mental capacity is gonna be the champion. That's the one that's gonna win it. When everything else is equal, this is what separates them. So when everything else is gone, this kind of strength, the kind of strength that your dad had, that is incomparable strength. That's the immeasurable strength, the strength of the human heart, human soul, to be able to endure something. I know you have to be able to draw incredibly from that example. As my mother was my living, people ask, how can you go through that and still maintain. So I have a whole lot of faith. I'm not a real religious person, but I got tremendous faith. But I had the privilege of watching my mother every day as a little kid. She was sick every day, Narbé. Every day she was sick. And never once did I ever hear my mother complain. She never complained one time. I never heard her say one. Every time you asked her, Mama, how you doing? I'm blessed. That was her standing answer to she could be in the hospital on an oxygen machine, about to fade away, just about to get, how you doing, Mrs. Fletcher? I'm blessed. That was it. So having that type of an example at my whole life at an early age prepared me for my own fight. Yeah. Years later, I'm saying, well, what would Mama do? You know, Mama handled it. Mama could go through this and say I'm blessed with a smile on her face. Yeah. There's my example. Absolutely. Now, knowing what your dad did and, you know, never, up until death, held on to his integrity, his beliefs. He was, it ain't too many people. Yeah. You got a whole lot of them that talk about it. Oh, I'll do this, I'll do that. But it's not too many people that are willing to die for anything.
Yeah. No, I mean, when I look back at the just reel of my, my competitive life, like past 20, 25 years, but also rewind back to my childhood. Back then it was normal, but then now looking back and hearing other people's, then I realized, oh my goodness, mine was very different. And I'm very blessed and rich in life. Obviously, some of the experiences were not so pleasant, but it shapes the person that I am now. So not just the bench pressing champion, but also just, the champion of life, basically. And one that has, as the French call it, joie de vivre, like a joy for life. And it's something that I want to have and continue to my last day. So,
man, that's going to be the title of the video. I like that. Now, joie de vivre. Joie de vivre. We got to figure out how to spell that shit here. Okay, yeah, send it there because I want that to be the title of the video. Narbé Mansourian, Narbé Bench Press Legends, Narbé featuring Narbé Mansourian and
Joie de vivre.
You heard it.
Right here.
You heard it from the teacher. All right, fuck y'all. Well, thank you motherfuckers for watching CT Fletcher Motivation on YouTube. Like, subscribe, don't subscribe. I don't give a fuck either way. But what you do need to do is take your punk ass over to ctfletcher.com and buy something. Cause I fucking said so.